of tourism sector was left exposed to international panic. The massive cancellation, Right Honorable Speaker, the ministry allowed international markets to believe the entire country was a hot zone. This triggered immediate booking cancellations during our peak May to September safari season.
The good is to protect Ugandans first. And when an outbreak like this comes out, you are hard-pressed between the two choices, to be transparent and report the disease so that you prevent it and caution people not to get it, or to remain quiet even when there is a risk of many people contracting it. So
Uganda registered 20 confirmed cases with 2 deaths and over 160 contacts, while DRC has registered over 2,000 cases and 700 deaths. The World Health Organization commended Uganda for her preparedness that disrupted the transmission of the disease.
The number of deaths compared to the number of patients who have passed through this unit gives a case fatality rate of less than 10%, which is about one of the lowest Ebola outbreaks that has been recorded. And that is not by luck, it is not by chance. It's because people invested in preparedness, and thus we are able to get results which are this good.
The two governments, Uganda and DRC, signed a memorandum of understanding that allowed 50 Ugandan health workers to DRC to assist in the response efforts. Adia Nakote, UBC.
And now to court. Prosecution is to rely on information gathered by intelligence on lawyer Erias Lukwago and on meetings he is said to have attended in Uganda, Kenya, Greece and Switzerland, allegedly led by Dr. Kizza Besigye, which prosecutors claim were aimed at assassinating the president and overthrowing the ruling government to prove Erias Lukwago guilty of the offense of misprision of treason. This was disclosed in the indictment presented to court by the prosecution as lawyer Erias Lukwago was committed to the High Court for a full trial.
In the Chief Magistrate's Court, presided over by Magistrate Sala and Basemera, lawyer Erias Lukwago is accused of the offense of misprision of treason, an offense that has kept him on remand for 1 month. Prosecution informed court that investigations have been completed and that it's ready to commit Erias Lukwago to the High Court for a full trial.
That was their fear.
In the indictment presented to court, prosecution alleges that in 2023, Erias Lukwago, together with Dr. Kizza Besigye, Hajobedi Lutale, Ibrahim Samjunganda, Lubega Mukaku, and Charles Romshana held meetings to discuss plans intended to overturn the government. Prosecution further alleges that during the same meetings, Dr. Kizza Besigye requested Andrew Wahabwe to train some of his allies in covert intelligence and paramilitary tactics.
Between 2021 and November 2024 at various places, including Nairobi in Kenya and Kampala district in Uganda, knowing that other persons to it, Joel Wakaima, Ram, Chiherere Atunda, Haj Obed Lutale, and Kanorita Dr. Kizza Besigye intended to commit treason.
It also alleges that Dr. Kizza Besigye requested counterfeit Ugandan shillings into Uganda with the intention of injecting them into the economy to raise funds and destabilize the country's economy. The indictment further states that Lukwago, as leader of PFF, together with Samuel Mahoha, in 2024 mobilized and authorized the travel of PFF members to Kisumu, Kenya for training, allegedly intended to overthrow the government of the Republic of Uganda by force of arms.
Your Worship, that the accused died in hospital.
According to the prosecution, although Erias Lukwago, as the leader of PFF, was aware of the meetings and alleged plots in Geneva, Switzerland, and other parts of Kenya and Uganda, he deliberately failed to report the matter to the relevant authorities. Prosecution says it will rely on evidence and exhibits, including the accused's call data records, police investigation reports, immigration records, and travel histories of Dr. Kizza Besigye, Hajobedi Lutale, Erias Lukwago, Simon Lutalondwa, Among others, other evidence will include records confirming the various individuals who traveled outside Uganda during the periods of the alleged meetings and training sessions, recordings involving intelligence officer from CMY, electronic devices allegedly used to make the recordings, audios and video recordings of the meetings, among other exhibits. Lawyer Elias Lukwago, who physically appeared in court, unlike during the previous court sitting, was committed to High Court for full trial. After the indictment was read to him, Deborah Namamonde, Viola Nance, Subuga, UBC News.
The Chief of Defense Forces, General Muhoozi Kainerugaba, who also serves as the chairman of the Patriotic League of Uganda, has assured Ugandans repatriated from South Africa that the country is stable and offers a conducive environment for investment and business. His message was delivered to the returnees currently undergoing rehabilitation and ideological orientation at the National Leadership Institute in Chankwanzi.
At the National Leadership Institute in Chankwanzi, we're having one of the facilitators, Twaha Fadili, who is the Secretary General for the Patriotic League of Uganda. He just delivered the message from the Chief of Defense Forces, General Muhoozi Kainerugaba, who also happens to be the chairman of the Patriotic League of Uganda.
He told me to tell the returnees to be always thinking about Uganda, being patriotic, being disciplined, and they should change their mindset of xenophobia to loving each other. And then they also embrace the existing government programs, because he has said the skills they have gained from South Africa, they should bring it here in Uganda.
During his lecture, Fadili also explained the ideology of the Patriotic League of Uganda, saying the organization promotes patriotism, accountability, and the proper use of public resources. He commended the Minister for Local Government, Honorable Balambaru Gahara, for his ongoing anti-corruption campaign, describing it as a demonstration of genuine patriotism. Fadil also warned individuals issuing threats against the minister to desist from such actions.
And those who are trying to threaten Balam is a product of PLU. It's a product of General Muhoozi. For us, we are never shaken. If people think they can say that, actually we want to go to those districts, they say it should go slow. We are going there.
The Permanent Secretary at the Minister of Health, Dr. Diana Twine, briefed the returnees on how to navigate Uganda's healthcare system and assured them of free medical screening and treatment during the rehabilitation program.
They have been in a different system, and one of the components that will help them to settle down in the country is to know how our health system works, to know there are different options of service delivery that we have.
This program is being coordinated by the National Secretariat for Patriotism Corps under Commissioner Helen Sekou.
At least the 14 days are not in vain. You can see that people have changed. They are now loving their country. They have started even planning that after here they are going to engage themselves into the different wealth-creating projects that are in the country. I believe majority will go away positive about the country, positive about patriotism, positive about Pan-Africanism and democracy.
Bernard Higa, UBC, Chankwanzi.
And in more UBC news, members of the Parliamentary Committee on Physical Infrastructure have tasked officials from Uganda Civil Aviation Authority to submit academic qualifications of every CAA top member. During the committee sitting to review Uganda Civil Aviation Authority's performance for financial year 2025-26, the Deputy Director General, CAA Olive Birungi Lamonya, said that the authority dismissed 89 staff for forgery of academic papers in implementing a presidential directive.
Uganda Civil Aviation Authority had an annual budget of 401 billion during financial year 2025-26. However, collected 346 billion, and their total expenditure by end of the financial year was 321 billion shillings. Officials attribute this gap to the Iran war and Ebola epidemic. The authority that currently facilitates 2.3 million passengers estimates to increase the number to 3.5 million passengers, hence the need to have another terminal at Entebbe Airport. Uganda Civil Aviation Authority, however, decries the big and growing debt by government agencies.
The overall debt as at 30th June was standing at 233 billion from the different government agencies, and notably the government debt at 91, and this 91 billion, the biggest amount is from the UN. One is Uganda Airlines debt, which stands at about 90 billion. Actually, as of yesterday, I think they paid like 11 billion. It has come down slightly.
I'd like to request you to give us a written report detailing a clear and itemized debt recovery plan.
Why should Foreign Affairs owe you money and Minister of Works and they don't pay, and you continue giving them services? Please put up a good case.
The chairperson of the committee, Mwine Mpaka, wanted to know the strategy UCCA has for revenue collection, since they rely on funds they collect from passengers.
The dependence on aeronautical revenue is at 80%, and I'm happy you realize that this is a problem. The non-aeronautical is at 21%, the revenue dependence. Can you give us a strategy? Because rightly, like you said, it's going to have an impact, or it's going to put pressure on our travelers. The cost of a ticket, what strategy do you have?
Member of Parliament, Bukoto Central, Sevamala Richard, asked to be updated on the presidential directive to discontinue 152 UCCA staff who were there illegally. The Deputy Director General, UCCA, Olive Birungi Lumonya, said they dismissed 89 staff on issues of forgery of academic papers. This sparked off a heated debate in the committee.
Could have entered Uganda Civil Aviation Authority with your O-level or A-level, but when verification was made by UNEB, UNEB confirmed that in one of your submissions there was a forgery. Either you used somebody else's qualifications or you changed two subjects. On top of that, Chair, we withheld their terminal benefits, because to us, much as they had worked for those years, they had worked based on forgery qualifications. So then,
positions are we referring to? Because if you have an air traffic control officer who is not qualified, then this is really a very serious issue.
Did you submit them for to the appropriate body for prosecution over their action?
Aviation, you are managing the lives of Ugandans and other people. So now, Mr. Chairman, if it doesn't break our rules, we are going to ask for the qualification from MD. Yes, and how you got recruited. How did you enter Civil Aviation Authority?
Following the forgery, the entire Civil Aviation members of staff have been verified. The verification has been at UNEB and has been at all the universities, whether in Uganda or outside Uganda, and that report is available.
Other issues discussed were infrastructure development and state of regional aerodromes, including the readiness of some for Uganda to host 2027 AFCON. I'm Nafka Farid and Gloria Mugwita Binji at Parliament.
And that's it for today. Till the next episode.
Like a daily bando. Omuliro nguwulira muli mu mutima gukankana like drums. Kalakata, enendungu ya kusabula. Mikono juu, free of fire, free of fire, free of fire.
Makerere Institute for Social Development, a certified institution for higher learning, invites applicants for certificates and diploma courses like accounting and finance, procurement, journalism, tailoring and fashion design, with many other skills-tailored courses.
Our institution is compliant. First of all, it is recognized by National Council for Higher Education. We are certified. The registration number is UBB 187.
Tested and tried since 1995, Makerere Institute for Social Development is your solution when it comes to quality education.
You may apply for January, May, August intakes. Find us along Sir Apollo Kagwa Road, opposite Makerere University Sports Ground. Our tuition is affordable with a state-of-art facilities. Early birds stand a chance to grab themselves bursaries. MISD or Makerere Institute for Social Development, facilitating your career.
There is a new way to keep your breath fresh all day. Introducing Movit All Day Toothpaste, meant to give you powerful night gum defense and teeth whitening. The charcoal flavor gives you deep cleansing and power stain removal. And the herbal delivers natural strength for healthy, confident smiles. Choose Movit All Day Toothpaste and enjoy freshness all day.
Introducing the all-new Roofing's TMX 500C rebars with cut and bend surfaces. Roofing's, strength of a nation.
We don't need anyone's permission to move forward. What we need is the power to do it our way. Spiro is not your typical EV company. It's the power grid for African ambition. A network that connects Nairobi to Kigali, Lagos to Lome, Dar to Kampala. Not with cables and wires, but with clean, quiet, relentless movement. This is Africa, powered by us.
Step into elegance, step into confidence, step into La Vie Boutique. Located at Grand Imperial Hotel, Shop 6 and 8, right behind Bank of Uganda, La Vie Boutique brings you high-class corporate and casual wear for men. From sharp designer suits and crisp shirts to stylish casual t-shirts, tracksuits, shoes and accessories, we've got everything to make you stand out. Call us on 0772 419 181 or 0705 555 558. La Vie Boutique, where class meets style.
Welcome back. You're still watching the UBC News broadcasting live from Nile Avenue. Now, still in Parliament, Ruth Rujoki Mushabe, the woman MP for Kiruhura District, has called for firm action against exploitative money lenders who are impoverishing the public. She also seeks for an immediate prioritization of the long overdue Kashwa-Ruhamba Road and the intervention to address the chronic water crisis in Kiruhura District. This was contained in her appreciation as Parliament pays tribute to gratitude towards President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni's recent State of the Nation address. Let's have a look.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity. And I'm glad and privileged to give my maiden speech when the debate on the floor of Parliament is to appreciate the President's State of the Nation address of 4th June. As my voter and as my President, I am super proud of him. And there's so much to appreciate about the speech, but I'll pick two. One, from the historical examples he gave, The President's speech gives pathway for our country from where we have come, where we are, and where we will be if we follow his guidance. The second is the notion that we have to stop being polite to non-performance. This is what many people feel, but are too polite to say. And politeness has yielded to complacency. Take an example of the infamous kafuna. I am sure many of you have them in your villages. These are modern-day Shylocks who take people's property when they fail to pay back. Government is promoting circles, and I am convinced that if deliberate efforts are made, we can stop this bad vice. Or an example of littering. It happens right before our eyes. People throw rubbish as they walk and drive without a care, and we watch.
In more news, government has revealed that the move to extend the tax to a broader range of single-use plastics will generate approximately 3 billion shillings in revenue. The Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, Henry Musasizi, says that this excise duty amendment bill 2026 as returned by the President captures a much wider range of plastic products unlike the current law which concentrates on the Kavera.
The Parliamentary Committee on Finance, Planning and Economic Development has finalized scrutiny over both the Income Tax Amendment Bill 2026 and the Excise Duty Amendment Bill 2026 as returned by the President.
But it looks like
the committee, chaired by West Budama North County MP Max Ochai, harmonized with the Ministry of Finance on the way forward to ensure that the tax regime for 2026 does not strangle the private sector growth. The major concern surrounded the Excise Duty Amendment Bill 2026, which the President guided that the tariffs be maintained at 2.5%, unlike the proposed 25% per ton of single-use plastics. The President's proposal accordingly retains the existing excise duty rate while substantially expanding the scope of the tax. Finance Minister Henry Musasizi informed the House that the move captures a much wider range of plastic products, unlike the current law, which concentrates on Kavera.
we've raised the issues of further studies, and we did demand for studies. I'm seeing the President say, I therefore consider this matter requires further study. And I remember the Honorable Minister, you came with studies. So, were your studies cooked up?
The President is consulted. So he's fully alive to all these decisions, and he chairs all the meetings that where the budget is discussed in the cabinet.
Government projects approximately 3 billion shillings additional revenue, dismissing hopes of loss-making to the modifications by the President.
First of all, we have two proposals. One is giving us more money, the one on gaming, 65 billion. And this one is slightly putting us into a small loss. So the loss from the plastics shall be offset by the gain from the gaming, among other areas. So the loss is not so much significant.
Minister Musasizi committed to improve the research capabilities to ensure that the tax proposals do not have substantial effects on the manufacturers. It was noted that the manufacturers approached the President with a loud cry that the 25% per ton of Kavera was a disservice to the sector, calling for pardon.
Since now we are starting in a new page, team will not sleep. I think we should take a keen interest, like other countries, what they are doing. A policy produced within 1 year, the Minister of Finance collects data, how fight has affected the public, and then they revisit it.
But having had further information from the stakeholders, engagement with the President and also ourselves, the President in his wisdom decided to bring this bill back for reconsideration so that we factor in the concerns of the private sector and the manufacturers who are affected.
The committee unanimously agreed with Minister Musasizi that the President's proposal also addresses the concerns raised by manufacturers regarding the magnitude of the proposed rate increase and strengthens the legal framework by expanding the tax base, improving certainty, reducing disputes, supporting tax administration, and continuing to advance environmental objectives.
He kept the fees, the charges at the same rate, but included more other items to be taxed. Now, because of that, according to the presentation of the minister, there is going to be a 3 billion raise. That's how it works. When you increase the tax base, you increase taxes. Increasing taxes doesn't mean increasing tax rates, but getting more people into the what? Into the system.
Before you leave, we appreciate the commitment you have made to henceforth consider generating evidence-based information that will guide decision-making in government.
Daniel Mugoya, UBC News.
Government concerns over the slow progress of Busega-Mpigi Expressway have taken center stage on one of Uganda's key road infrastructure developments aimed at easing traffic congestion and improving transport along the northern corridor. The Minister of Works and Transport, Fred Byamukama, conducted an inspection of the project to assess the causes of delays and engage the contractor on the way forward.
The Busega-Mpigi Expressway project is expected to transform transport between Kampala and Western Uganda by reducing travel time, improving road safety, and boosting trade. However, the project has been the subject of prolonged controversy over delays, rising costs, land compensation, and allegations of corruption. At the center of the controversies are two respected highway engineers that quietly design and supervise some of the country's biggest road projects. Engineer Dickens Zahimbisiwe and Engineer Edwin Raymond Chiaga have become household names for an entirely different reason. These issues saw President Yoweri Museveni publicly criticize officials in the Ministry of Works and Transport. The suspensions are linked to allegations that the engineers manipulated the alignment of Ugandan shillings 1.7 trillion Busega-Mpigi Expressway, triggering fresh land compensation claims and contributing to a massive escalation in the cost of one of Uganda's flagship road projects.
The African Development Bank people, and we have informed them, we are progressing with the project because we need this project if we are to decongest Kampala and spend a little time while moving on this road, because we have seen from Busega almost up to Mpigi there is a lot of jam. And this project came to answer those problems. At the same time, really, if you have to move your commodities from the west, from the Masaka side to Kampala, you see even the one from Mutukula side to Kampala, with all this jam, automatically the agricultural commodities from that side, they will be brought in the country at a very high price.
Works Minister Fred Byamukama, together with the senior officials from the ministry, toured the project to assess the current level of implementation and establish the reasons behind the delayed completion. President Museveni, in his letter, alleged that the engineers diverted the expressway from its original compensated route and redirected it through land requiring fresh compensation, contributing to the dramatic increase in the project's cost from about shillings 600 billion to approximately Ugandan shillings 1.3 trillion.
We have seen really there was a mistake. The mistake, there was no any money stolen from African Development Bank. The money from African Development Bank was meant to do the physical works, not land acquisition. The money from African Development Bank was meant to do the physical works, like what you are doing. Then the money from government of Uganda, billions of money, was meant to compensate people to acquire the right of way. So that's where the problem came from. People went in to eat this money from government of Uganda through land acquisition.
The 23.7-kilometer expressway Initially, it was expected to be completed by 2024, but by mid-2026, only a fraction of the work had been completed despite substantial funding.
80% of the right of way is in the swamp. 80%. And you see the justifications they are giving. I've reasoned them out that we avoided those houses. The houses they avoided, when you look at them, I doubt whether there is a house which is even worth 500 million Ghana shillings. But they're saying we avoided those houses. When you look at them according to evaluations, not out of money. So as investigations goes on, I'm also seeing the challenge by own Ugandans. They saw they couldn't eat money for civil works, but they wanted that money from government of Uganda for land acquisition. And that's how they diverted to ensure their property is compensated there.
While on site, the project contractors briefed the Minister on construction progress, outlining the challenges that have slowed the works.
So far, we've already completed around 47% of physical progress. As you see, so far, we are not working under full capacity. We are just working partially. The challenge is we are waiting for additional addendum.
So to connect this road where we are standing now, that's why to be an interchange. In addition to 1.3 trillion, they need more 700 billion. I know Ugandans are going to cry, but this is the reality, I must tell you. In addition to the 1.3 trillion, we need 700 billion if you have to solve this problem. So imagine now the road is going to come from 600 billion, 2 trillion.
I'm Ivan Juko, reporting for UBC.
Leaders of civil society groups have urged governments across Africa to recognize their organizations as allies in the fight against money laundering, terrorism financing, and proliferation financing. The call was made during the 3rd Annual High-Level Africa Civil Society Conference on Anti-Money Laundering and Counter-Terrorism Financing, organized by Uganda's Civic Advisory Hub in Abuja, Nigeria.
The High-Level Africa Civil Society Conference is an annual event that convenes multiple stakeholders, including non-profit sector actors, government and intergovernmental actors, banking institutions, among others, with the goal of shaping inclusive, risk and rights-based financial integrity frameworks across the continent.
As Africa prepares for a new cycle of mutual evaluations, we have an opportunity to learn from one another.
Speaking at the opening ceremony, the Executive Director of the Civic Advisory Hub, Yuna Wanjala, called for continued partnership between regulators and civil society built not only on consultation but on meaningful participation.
Demonstrate, push, share knowledge, practices on how best to move from principle to practice, from paper to actual implementation.
Available statistics show that money laundering and illicit financial flows cost Africa approximately $88.6 billion annually, draining funds from critical infrastructure, healthcare, and education. Now, as governments pursue stronger financial integrity systems, Wanjala urges that lasting progress will depend on recognizing civil society not simply as a regulated sector, but as a trusted partner in protecting communities, strengthening accountability, and safeguarding the integrity of the financial system.
That civic space should sit at the heart of anti-money laundering and countering of the financing of terrorism.
The executive chairman of Nigeria's Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Ola Olukoyede, noted the need to have stronger institutions and building public trust.
Trust between regulators and civil society. Trust between governments and development partners. Trust built through transparency, consultation, information sharing, and mutual respect.
Edward Amanyire from the Analysis and Monitoring Department of Uganda's Financial Intelligence Authority noted how the Ugandan delegation has learned from the meeting and making progress.
Involvement of the civil society organizations, we are equally doing the same. Their data collection techniques are both employing qualitative and quantitative. So generally speaking, I was happy that we are on track, but also we were able to learn quite a number of best practices.
The third annual high-level Africa Civil Society Conference 2026 in Abuja follows the first edition held in Kampala 2024 and the second held in Botswana last year 2025. The conference was marked under the theme Implementing Financial Action Task Force Recommendation 8 Correctly, Practices, Lessons Learned and Opportunities for Reform. Lydia Chomkama, UBC News.
And some good news for the heritage of the country. The rehabilitation of the Uganda Museum in Chitante is progressing steadily, with works now about 80% complete, despite the project extending beyond the initial one-year completion timeline and the museum remaining closed for the past 2 years. The Commissioner for Museums and Monuments at the Ministry of Tourism, Wildlife and Antiquities, Dr. Jacqueline Nyirashiza Besige, has assured Ugandans and the tourism fraternity that the museum will be ready to reopen to the public within the next 3 to 4 months. The Uganda Museum was closed in 2024 to allow for the rehabilitation and upgrading of the facility as part of the government's efforts to improve tourism infrastructure across the country. Although the redevelopment was initially expected to last 1 year, Dr. Nyirashiza says that the ministry opted not to rush the works after contractors recommended replacing the building's roof, which had last undergone major rehabilitation more than 20 years ago. These are some of the highlights from the scene.
These are special shelves.
In 2022, we had government negotiate a project on tourism infrastructure, and among the components of the tourism infrastructure was to upgrade or to improve or to rehabilitate the National Museum to international standards. This building was, Ernest May had proposed the roof in 1954, which roof was changed in 1989 when there was leakage. And so the same roof that was changed, we have had issues with leakage. That's why we called for renovations first. And so with the help of the project manager, again we have restored back to the original 1954 building. And so that's why we are calling upon all Ugandans to ensure that they don't demolish these buildings, they instead restore, and we keep our heritage, and we shall have what to tell our future generations. And so with that, I want to say that the work is going on well. We are hoping that in 1.5 months, the contractor will be done with the structures. We have a team that will come from China, because the showcases, the international showcases that we want, that we approved, are coming from China. And so the team from China in 1.5 months will come to make sure that they install the showcases, and we also install the exhibitions back. And then probably in 3 to 4 months, we should be able to invite the public to come and witness the reopening of the National Museum.
We really can't wait for the National Museum to be reopened. And in more news, security agencies in Palisa district have concluded investigations into allegations of corruption and mismanagement of party funds involving officials of the district NRM leadership. According to the resident district commissioner Majid Dikusoka, the investigation file has been forwarded to the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, DPP, for legal review and possible actions. Our reporter has the details.
Ku district ye Palisa elepito ngapugana ngaren kiti papa yo iri Museveni kaguta ujaimu sitoma.
There are voices of NRM sub-county chairpersons from across Palisa district protesting over what they describe as corruption, neglect of duty and the alleged embezzlement of party funds.
We are unhappy because we were supposed to get 300,000 per village, of which we did not get, plus our chairperson at the village level.
Chairperson to be removed out of the office because the way he's doing things is not good.
The chairpersons allege that Palliser District NRM Chairperson Honorable Derek Oron, together with other district party officials, misappropriated 150 million shillings that was reportedly intended to facilitate mobilization activities for NRM sub-county and village chairpersons ahead of the January 2026 general elections. The leaders are calling for Honorable Oron to step aside to allow investigations and any subsequent legal processes to proceed without interference.
We are requesting the party to come down and solve that issue.
We have tried to look for our chairperson, who is called Derek Orone. Is not responding us.
However, the Palliser Resident District Commissioner Majid Diksoka says investigations have been completed and the case file has already been submitted to the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions for appropriate legal action.
In this matter, the key suspect is the accounting officer of NRM, who is the administrator of NRM, is the accounting officer. Actually, police is looking at him as a key suspect, although there are many suspects in those cases. And all of them, the police made sure that they recorded their assessments.
The RDC has urged party leaders and supporters to remain calm, continue with lawful party mobilization, and allow the justice process to take its course.
You know, we are trying to work with NRM office to wake up our people, to make sure that we sensitize them, we get them. We want to make sure that all the 493 villages in Palliser, we want to honor NRM.
Efforts to obtain a comment from Honorable Derek Oron were unsuccessful by the time this report was filed.
And we'll now take a short commercial break. When we return, we'll be back with business, so do not move an inch.
The parent is Tuliahewa Dixon. And the child is Ani Tuliahewa Esther.
Kambera gwete kwa mchisha ishe watu yahewa Esther wahangura school fees ngene na hateja shana amashemero bagonka MTN momo eberewo mbeni nyegasta igana kaga ni 5 sta manana 0 hash shashuro mwana school fees tokoma nyo mchisheri za gwijo wanje ninga nchaka nkubasa kuzo wawe mwebare munonga.
Welcome to Ingiko, the global brand delivering quality, innovation, and performance for professionals and homeowners. Discover our latest range of products that we deal in, like power tools, hand tools, PPE, generators, and general hardware items. Visit us at our different branches on 6th Street, Industrial Area, Kampala Road next to Mapera House, Entebbe Road, opposite Housing Finance Bank. Visit our website at www.ingikotoolsuganda.com or call us on 0709-861-948 or 0779-491-855.
Ingiko, make the world in your hands.
Every life begins in a moment like this. Certain, planned, full of promise. For us, it's a bold ambition to make lives better. Because somewhere, someone is stepping into a world of work for the first time with the confidence that their retirement is taken care of. We make dreams possible. From owning homes to scaling businesses. And when health takes an unexpected turn, help is there when it's needed most. And because legacies matter, what people build does not end with them. It's passed on. We value moments with go-getters, bold dreamers and believers. Different paths, different rhythms, with one shared belief that financial freedom is within reach. For 40 years, we've made lives better and fueled Uganda's economy. Through careful investment, we have supported businesses, created jobs, and backed our nation. To us, it's more than saving. It's believing in effort, in patience, in possibility. It's making lives better. We believe in you, in us, and in Uganda.
NSSF, 40 years of making lives better.
Ssaabawandiisi w'ekibiina kya NRM Right Honorable Richard Todwong ku lwa ssentebe w'ekibiina President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni ayozayoza bassentebe ba NRM ku byalo n'abo abagenda okukwatira ekibiina bendera mu kulonda kw'enkiiko z'ebyalo n'ez'abakyala. Ssaabawandiisi era ajjukiza bannakibiina mwenna okwetooloola eggwanga.
Welcome back. You're still watching the UBC News broadcasting live from Nile Avenue. In the world of business, the World Bank has retained Uganda among the low-income economies, despite Uganda's recent declaration that the country had attained lower middle-income status. According to the World Bank's latest country and lending group's classification for the 2026-27 fiscal year, Uganda remains among the 25 countries with a gross national income per capita of $1,175 or less, based on the 2025 data. Dennis Sigoa spoke to an economist, Smartson Ainomjasha, on the implication of the latest development.
The World Bank's GNI assessment and ranking comes barely a month after government announced in the 2026-2027 budget speech that Uganda had crossed the lower middle income threshold, with gross national income per capita rising to $1,389.
So GNI per capita looks at the income that has been earned by residents of the country within, for example, this financial year, which we are talking about. So it means if you look at this
so the computation is from July to July.
It's the financial year. That's what we are looking at, financial year. So if we look at that in terms of gross national income, we are looking at total income received by Ugandans, both here and abroad, in this kind of in a given period which we are looking at.
But what does this divergence between the government assessment and the World Bank's classification mean for Uganda's economy, investment prospects, and development ambitions?
So by considering you as a lower income country, you are going to miss out on what you call some concessional loans. Some development assistance, you may not qualify for it. Because now people start to get worried whether you have capacity. Have you heard of appraisal? That when you want to get a loan, the institution will come to you and have to appraise, and when they come up, there is already a trusted statistic.
It's like some form of a credit score.
Absolutely. Where do you fall?
The World Bank uses its Atlas method to determine country income classifications, a methodology that smooths exchange rate fluctuations and relies on internationally comparable data when calculating gross national income per capita.
You realize we have big potential, and the government is actually putting some efforts to be able to take advantage of these opportunities and be able to unleash the potential. Tourism potential, you have seen you have looked at the 10-fold growth strategy.
Minerals,
so if we can be able to take advantage of these ATMs, agro-industrialization, we focus on value addition, we intensify it. We just be able to position ourselves in terms of tourism, bring in more money coming from tourists, and then we'll be able to take advantage of the oil that is coming through. You would expect that we can be able to move into that level.
Across East Africa, Kenya and Tanzania remain lower middle income economies, while Uganda and Rwanda continue to be classified as low income economies.
So if you see Kenya at its level of industrial development, a regional hub, when you see it at that level and you think that actually you have been judged fairly, you should be at the level of Kenya, then you are not facing a reality.
You're right.
You get the point? And
that's a very clear point.
And secondly, I encourage Ugandans also to have an opportunity to move beyond Uganda and see how other countries are doing it.
Dennis Sigoa for UBC.
The Minister of Local Government, Balam Barugahara, has ordered for the closure of Namisindwa Senior Secondary School in Namisindwa District following an outcry from the learners about the poor sanitation standards in the school. For Wabwala SS, still in Namisindwa, the head teacher and deputy have been set aside indefinitely. Balam's decision were cleared after phone consultations with the acting Minister of Education and Sports, Dr. J.C. Muyingo. In Namisindwa, Balam has also as well arrested the district education officer, school administrators and other government officials pinned for facilitating corruption in the government schools.
The Minister of Local Government, Balam Barugahara, has returned to Giso sub-region. The minister, who dropped in the area in the night of Thursday, went straight to Busibu Health Center 4. Unlike other stations at Busibu Health Center 4, business was running as expected.
These are patients. You don't have enough beds.
However, the Thursday night surprise visit at this government facility unearthed 5 ghost staff who are alleged to be missing since July 2025.
Unfortunately, I also want to inform you that just like the other health center I did a spot check on, tonight still I discovered in this very hospital there are 5 ghost staff.
In the morning hours, Balam Barugahara embarked on the journey to Namisindo district.
The President's order of free education to young people in government schools.
Namisindo Senior Secondary School received the minister first in the district.
So there is no reason as to why you should pay in a government school.
On-spot interaction between the visitors and the learners revealed the universal school fees charge of shillings 65,000 per term.
65,000? The unit is for what?
Balam was accompanied by State Minister of Labour Simon Mulongo, members of Parliament, Resident District Commissioner, security operatives, among others. This did not end in the classroom but rather called for a general school assembly.
Can you answer these young people? Why are they paying school fees?
The implicated administrators were then handed to security operatives to manage them further.
You know, when I say arrest them, which is bad, today I will not say arrest them, but I will ask DPC to manage the case.
The school kitchen also attracted the minister's attention. Every learner also demanded for a close check-up to the toilets.
So who is there? Who's going there? So they have just used it. You mean there are dogs which go there? If you condemn it, why did you destroy it?
The situation was shocking and alarming, a moment which swinged Minister Balamu's moods. In consultations with the acting Minister of Education, Dr. John Chrysostom Muyingo, a discussion to temporarily close the school was secured.
Digging a foot, digging a pit latrine is 10,000.
This decision automatically ended classes at midday.
After consulting Dr. J.C. Muyingo, the Minister of Education, we have decided to have this school shut down till Monday.
Balam extended the audit to Bupoto Primary School.
I've been caught as a victim who had inflated the numbers of the learners by 346.
Although the school head teacher conceded to inflating school population, he didn't escape arrest. The local projects were also not spared in this tour.
This bridge cost the taxpayer 60 million just to buy this board, this top timber. You have confessed you took the money. So DPC, that's not my work, it's for case management.
At Wawara Senior Secondary School, Minister Balam intervened to settle long-standing disputes between learners and the administrators, the move cleared by the acting Minister of Education, Dr. John Chrysostom Muyingo.
I'm sorry for what is going on. I pray that you remain calm and disciplined, well behaved, as we try to sort out the issues.
Will act as the head of this institution.
The minister concluded the day's tour from St. John's Nakari Senior Secondary School.
Wow. And in sports, Uganda's team to the 2026 Commonwealth Games that started on the 23rd of July in Glasgow, Scotland, has been flagged off by the Prime Minister Robin Nabanja. The occasion took place at Mestill Hotel in Kampala has these details shared with us.
Prime Minister Robinah Nabbanja challenged the athletes to improve on their previous performance, urging them to aim for the top of the medal table.
This time around, we need more medals, more gold, more silver, and more bronze.
She also celebrated a historic milestone, noting that for the first time, Uganda's Commonwealth Games team has more female than male athletes, describing it as a reflection of government's commitment to gender inclusion in sports.
I have told you I am pleased particularly because for the first time, Uganda is sending more female athletes than the male athletes, reflecting government's commitment to gender inclusion in sports.
Nabbanja thanked President Yoweri Museveni for continued investment in sports infrastructure and urged the athletes to compete with determination and integrity as they carry the hopes and pride of the nation.
Allow me to thank our President, His Excellency General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, for his unwavering support for sports development, particularly the huge investment he has put in sports infrastructure across the country.
She added that government support will continue as Uganda prepares for the Youth Olympic Games in Senegal later this year and the Los Angeles 2028 Olympic Games.
Government is committed to completing the remaining works to ensure that it's ready to support preparations for the Los Angeles 2028 Olympic Games.
State Minister for Sports Peter Gwang says Uganda will be making its 17th appearance at the Games since 1964, having participated in all editions.
Uganda will participate in the 23rd edition of the Commonwealth Games scheduled for 23rd July to 2nd August 2026 in Glasgow. The team is fully funded by the government of Uganda and will mark its 16th participation since 1954, when it participated as a British protectorate in the edition that took place in Cardiff and yielded a single bronze medal by the late Etolu in the high jump.
Uganda finished 16th of 74 nations at the last Games, winning 3 gold and 2 bronze medals, a feat it expects to improve.
I'm very, very excited, as you can probably tell, and I'm looking forward to, of course, doing my best, putting on the best performance that my training has been able to instill in me, and of course uphold to the utmost discipline and integrity and honor of carrying my country's flag up high.
Uganda's team is made up of 55 athletes from 8 federations, including Uganda Aquatics, Uganda Athletics, weightlifting, netball, judo, basketball, boxing, and cycling.
On behalf of the Commonwealth Game sport of Uganda, we want to wish our athletes success, all 55 of you, and also to remind them to hold our flag high.
Overall, the country has won 58 Commonwealth Games medals, 19 of which are gold, 16 silver and 23 bronze, mainly through athletics and boxing.
And that brings us to the end of our bulletin. But of course, to tickle your mind, allow me to share with you a figure. Uganda's corruption perception index, according to Transparency International, is at 25%. That's a figure that, of course, represents the thoughts and perceptions of business leaders and corporate leaders around, the country. So that low figure is the reason why the Minister Balaam Barugahara is on the streets trying to clean up. See you at 10 for another exciting bulletin. My name is Wadulo Arnold Mark. Dorothy Namuyomba is on sign language.